No class talking about electronic publication could be complete without talking about the formats that make it happen, the formats we use to read our books by. For example, I work in the graphics industry. I have to deal with formats every day. GIF, JPEG, PNG, TIFF, PSD. Formats that allow me to take an image, open it up, massage it, play with it, print it, whatever I want to do. In electronic publications, we have formats, obviously. I've got a folder here called Sample ePubs. In Sample ePubs are 3 documents. These are the 3 major players in the industry of electronic publications. The first one, ePub. So we use the term ePub as a generic term meaning electronic publications. But in reality, it actually is one of the formats, .epub. The ePub format is the most popular. It's used by iTunes, it's used by Nook. And so we can go into InDesign and basically construct a document, save it as an ePub. We can take it into iTunes. You can put it on an iPad, read it on an iPhone, read it on a Nook. Nook uses the ePub. There are 2 versions. We've got an ePub 2 and an ePub 3. Now 3 has a couple of more features. We'll talk about that later. You have the PDF, the ubiquitous PDF. They've been around forever, but it doesn't mean they're not electronic publications. And we'll talk about how InDesign handles those. And then we'll talk about the Mobi. Now the Mobi format is basically used by Amazon.com and the Kindle. I bought my wife a Nook, actually, I don't know, a year or so ago. And then it wasn't too much longer after that I bought her an iPad, and now the Nook is in a corner gathering dust. So I would suggest something. If you are going to invest in a device, a portable device, since these things are not cheap, make sure that you really like the one you're going to eventually pick up. Otherwise, you might wind up like I do, having a Nook stuck in a corner gathering dust. These are the formats that we are going to talk about. But the industry also came up with a conclusion. They decided that people do want to look at these things and read them like a book, carry them around, iPad, Nook, Kindle, whatever. But they also sometimes want to read them on their computers. So they came up with programs we can use. For example, if I have this one's out of copyright, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I want to read that on my computer right now. If I right-click my mouse, this is Mac or Windows, you will see an open with. Now, one of my options is to open this thing with Digital Edition. If you don't have Adobe Digital Editions, the latest version is 2.0, basically you can go out there and get it for free. If I choose it, here is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland as an electronic publication. Now, one of the definitions of ePubs is the fact that it's not on paper. I can do just about anything I want with it. For example, I can come over here, and I can open this up and go down to any area just simply with the click of a button. You will notice this does have graphics in it. I can change the font size if I want to. I can search for something if I want to. If I go to one of the corners, the document itself is going to reformat itself. Now, I know you know that, but it's different than a piece of paper. Paper doesn't do this. Electronic publications do. So if you have Adobe Digital Editions, which is free, you can then read your books directly on your computer as opposed to putting them onto a portable device. Let's go ahead and get out of here. The PDF format, been around forever. If I right-click my mouse, I do have the ability to open this up with Adobe Digital Editions, or I can use Adobe Acrobat, or I can use just simply the Reader program that comes with Mac or Windows. And if I scroll down through here, you can see it. Now, there is a big difference. If I come over here and begin reformatting, the document doesn't change itself like it would in an electronic publication. So there are some differences in choosing to use a PDF. Let's go ahead and get out of here. The last one is Mobi, and that's things like the Kindle and the Kindle Fire. Those are the devices you can use to actually read this. If I right-click my mouse on this one, I have the option to open it up in a program that I downloaded, and it is free. It's called Calibre, C-A-L-I-B-R-E. It's pronounced Calibre. And if I open that one up, now this is a sample of a book. And if I want to read it, same thing. I can open it right here. You can see there's a lot of things going on with Calibre. You can do a lot of different things. And here it is. Same idea. I can make the font bigger. I can make it smaller. I can change its size. I can reformat the document itself in terms of width. Electronic publishing. I would recommend, if you don't have Calibre or you don't have Adobe Digital Editions, we'll talk more about those later, but I'd recommend you get them because they do allow you to do something. They allow you to look at your document in a viewer before you commit yourself and put it out there for the world. Well, there you go. 3 different formats for electronic publishing.